guys, it's your girl T. So I wanted to come on here and talk about the whole Hulk Hogan situation. Everybody's wanting to know my opinion because you guys all know I am a big wrestling fan. I grew up on wrestling. I have brothers. Like, we were so into the WWF, WWE. And when the Ultimate Warrior died, I took that shit hard because that was like one of my favorite wrestlers was the Ultimate Warrior. You know, so the whole situation is nuts. So I, like everyone else out here, was shocked to find out that Hulk Hogan is damn racist, okay? So what went down is that basically Hulk Hogan had been sleeping with his best friend's wife. And this woman is a straight up thot, okay? This woman had not only slept with Hulk Hogan, but her and her husband, but her husband was allowing her to sleep with a lot of black celebrities. It's come out that she's also slept with Warren Sapp and Deion Sanders and everybody else, but Hulk Hogan was the main guy on her list that she wanted to sleep with. So her and her husband basically set up Hulk Hogan, and she ends up sleeping with him, and while they're in the bedroom pillow talking, he starts going on a really racist rant about Brooke. And at that time, Brooke was dating some music executive's son, and Hulk Hogan felt slighted because he felt like he had spent all this money on her musical career, you know, millions of dollars, and basically she left Hulk Hogan to go sign with this guy's father. So Hulk Hogan's calling him all types of niggers and saying that, you know, he'd be okay with her dating a nigger if it was a basketball player, if it was a nigger who was worth, you know, $100 million and, you know, yada, yada, yada. So all this kind of started like a few years ago. Back in 2012 is when the initial tape was posted onto Gawker.com, okay? Now, they never posted the part of him pillow talking. It was just him in the sex acts with this woman. And this was after Hulk Hogan was married. So once this sex tape came out, this was like a big scandal. His wife at the time was like really upset about the situation. And Hulk Hogan vowed to sue Gawker. So now fast forward 3-4 years, they were set to go to trial down in Florida just about a week ago, but there was something going on with the jury. They couldn't get the right amount of jury people. And then lo and behold, this track gets slipped to the National Enquirer with Hulk Hogan going off on this racist rant. So I feel like the reason why this came out is because Gawker is not going to be able to pay this $100 million lawsuit. You know, we all see what 50 Cent is going through. You cannot defame somebody's character. You cannot just put out a sex tape of them without their permission. You know, maybe Kim Kardashian and Pamela Anderson were cool with it because they got some of that money, but not everybody's going to be cool with their business and their personal life being put out there, especially when they're in the middle, you know, of having sex. So that's why Hulk Hogan was going to sue them, and Hulk Hogan had a very good chance of winning this. Matter of fact, he probably would have won the $100 million lawsuit, but we all know that Gawker is not worth $100 million, so they weren't able to pay him. So I feel like they leaked this out to basically distract from the fact that they have a lawsuit pending with Hulk Hogan, okay? I want you guys to go ahead and watch this news clip. Check this out. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
Wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan got a smackdown from World Wrestling Entertainment today, firing the WWE star after he was heard repeating the N-word in a racist rant. According to Radar Online and the National Enquirer, Hogan is heard on the tape, which was recorded in 2006, talking about his daughter Brooke, who he accused of sleeping with an African American. I mean, I am a racist to a point. But then when it comes to nice people and whatever, then says, I mean, I'd rather if she was going to some I'd rather have her marry an 8-foot tall worth $100 million, like a basketball player. Guess we're all a little racist. Hogan's rant captured during his performance in a secretly recorded sex tape, and he's suing Gawker to try to stop the online website from releasing it. Hogan responded Friday in a statement saying, "It was unacceptable for me to have used that offensive language. There is no excuse for it, and I apologize for having done it. I am disappointed with myself that I used language that is offensive and inconsistent with my own beliefs. It is not who I am."
I don't know who would want to enter into a contract with him after this. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody just drops him cold.
Hogan says he is resigning from the WWE, while the WWE saying Hogan was fired. WWE terminated its contract with Terry Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan. WWE is committed to embracing and celebrating individuals from all backgrounds, as demonstrated by the diversity of our employees, performers, and fans worldwide.
What we saw in that tape is exactly what 21st century racism looks like. You may like black people and be friendly to black children, but you don't want your child to marry a black person.
When Hogan used the N-word during a 2012 radio broadcast, he explained that a black wrestler, Booker T, called him the word during a match.
And they're all talking trash. Booker T goes, "I'm coming for you, Hogan, you
Hogan got it past that time, but now finds himself in the same position of other celebrities caught using racially charged language. Remember Mel Gibson's rants?
And if you get raped by a pack of it'll be your fault.
And Michael Richards. Both caught. Others, such as Paula Deen, Justin Bieber, and Madonna, also caught and also apologized for using the word. Apology alone works for some, not for all. As for Hogan, his name and likeness stricken from the WWE website.
All right, so you guys just watched the news clip. So now Brooke Hogan is talking about the situation as well. She decided to pen a fucking poem about her father. You know, I really couldn't even really read it all. But in case you care, here goes her poem that she wrote on social media. Check this out, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary. All right, so you just saw Brooke Hogan's poem. So on top of Brooke Hogan defending her father, a lot of black celebrities and black athletes and a lot of, wrestling people have come out either in defense of Hulk Hogan or saying that they're supposedly shocked by what he said. I want you guys to go ahead and check out all these tweets and comments from other wrestlers and other celebrities. Check this out. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary. So you guys just checked out what all they had to say. Now, I find it funny that Booker T's ass is crying about Hulk Hogan saying the N-word when he called Hulk Hogan a nigger as well.
Expect the same thing is going to happen in this fourth quarter match.
Let me tell you something, Gene Hogan. You out here talking about a clique. The only clique you need to know about is the Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. See, because what you dealing with here is the brotherhood. It's non-stop from this point on in WCW. We take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger and the Giant, we want the gold sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I should point out for the record, Stevie Ray, look at this.
You know,
take a look.
This whole situation to me bothers me, and I'm going to come from a few different angles, and some people might agree, some might not agree, some might get offended. I don't give a shit. But this is how I feel about this situation, okay? Being that I am a Hulkamaniac, and, I'm a proud wrestling fan, and I did like, watching WWE and WWF before it just turned into a bunch of bullshit when I was younger, okay? Now, I'll say this. I feel like we live in a sad day and age when somebody can pillow talk and have their private conversations sold and blasted out there. Now, a lot of folks want to go in and say that he's a racist, and to me, he is a racist. Why is he a racist? Because he admitted it in the tapes that he's a racist. Dennis Rodman coming out and saying that he's not racist, and George Foreman caping for him and saying that he's not racist, when he's clearly saying in the tape that he is slightly racist. He's being honest because he feels like he's around company, he's around somebody he can trust, and he's letting his guard all the way down. So that right there shows that he's racist. But that's not what bothers me, okay? A lot of us have our own prejudices that we all hold, and that goes for black and white people. What bothers me with this situation is that, once again, this was in this man's home. This was a private conversation that this man did not know was being recorded, did not know was being filmed, and is now being used to basically tarnish him and his image because Gawker does not want to pay $100 million to him because they were in the wrong, okay? My thing is this. If you think about all the things that you say in your household, you know, within the confidence of your walls to, like, you know, your significant other, to your children, or just to whoever, imagine if those private conversations were sent out to the public. Could you say that you've never said anything racist or anything sexist or anything derogatory or talk shit about anybody? I know I can't say that. I know I probably done said some foul shit because I'm human. You know what I'm saying? And when certain things bother me, sometimes you go off on a tirade. And I've heard black people say that they don't want their child to date a cracker or to date somebody outside their race. Or, you know, if my child decides to date with if my child decides to date a white person, they better be a white person who's on their shit. They better not be trailer park trash. He's not saying anything that I haven't heard some, not all, black folks tell their own children. If you're going to date outside your race, don't bring home no trailer trash white girl. Don't bring home no stringy hair white boy. I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I'm saying, you know, words like cracker and stuff like that. But I'm just giving you guys an example of how some people talk. Just like when I say the word nigger. You know what I'm saying? That's just how some people talk. So don't email me with no bullshit. So like I said, if a lot of us were to have our private conversations that we have in our household recorded and blasted to the world, I think a lot of us would be embarrassed. And I don't think that that's necessarily a reason to lose everything that you've worked hard for. You know what I'm saying? So do I feel bad for Hulk Hogan? In a way, yes, because these were private conversations. It's not like he was out in the middle of the street yelling the N-word. But in a way, no, because he put himself in a situation. If you're going to lay down with dogs, you're going to come up with fleas. And it's obvious that this woman is not a woman of caliber that he should have been messing with. One, Hulk Hogan was married. She was married to his best friend, but they both had no issues creeping with each other. This woman literally set his ass up with her husband to basically blackmail this man and get money out of him. So he put himself in a really stupid situation. Now, around this time, you know, a lot of people are also saying that, you know, around this time he was going through his divorce with Linda and he was stressed out and, you know, of course, you know, mental illness, bipolar, and all these other excuses. I don't think that there's any excuses for him to be saying the things that he's saying in this tape. You know what I'm saying? He said it himself. He's a racist. I don't think that has anything to do with being bipolar. Those were his real feelings. And all I can do is just say, you know what? That's how he really feels. It is what it is. Because you have a lot of people out here who feel like just because they're dating somebody outside of their race, that those family members accept them. And that's not always the case. A lot of times, a lot of white folks are cool with interracial dating if their daughter is coming up. You know what I'm saying? If their daughter is coming into wealth because of that black man, they're not going to be cool with their daughter dating, you know, Tyrone on the block. Now, if it's Jay-Z or Jay-Z type dude who has Jay-Z money, they're going to be a little bit less racist as opposed to their daughter bringing home a thug. And that goes the same way for a lot of black parents. You know what I'm saying? They may not want their daughter or their son dating a white person, but they're going to be more tolerant if it's a white person who's well-to-do and who's on their shit. You're going to be more tolerant of your daughter dating a white doctor than some trailer park trash white guy. You know, that's just human nature. What I find crazy is that a lot of folks are giving the WWE props and saying that they did the right thing for, you know, basically deleting him, firing him, and getting him out of the Hall of Fame. If you guys think for 1 minute that the WWE is worried about protecting black people and is upset about Hulk Hogan using the N-word, you guys are seriously mistaken. The WWE has been accused of racism from day one. You can look at all the fucking stereotypes that they perpetuated. You know, being a kid when you're watching this, you know, you're looking at it as entertainment, but now being an adult and going back and watching like those old school wrestling tapes, it's like a lot of this shit was racist. A lot of this stuff was stereotypes. Look how they did Kamala. You know, a lot of folks have now watched the documentary that they did on Kamala, and this documentary made me cry because I was a huge fan of Kamala. And they literally lied and said they got him from the Ugandan jungle, and this man was from Mississippi. And this man got paid a fraction of what Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior got paid.
10, he went from Mid-South truck driver to big-time wrestler, and then he disappeared. Now, if you grew up on wrestling, that's what my dad called it, wrestling. That's right. And you might remember the name Kamala.
Well, tonight, WREG's Alex Coleman goes one-on-one with Kamala and tells us why he's now facing his biggest battle outside the ring.
In the 1980s and early 90s, he was one of the most colorful characters in wrestling.
I was always aggressive, and because I wanted to make the fans believe that I was from Africa.
To some, he was the Ugandan giant, but for most, he was Kamala.
To myself, I was an entertainer. But now to the fans, I was a wrestler.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's not just another pretty face, this guy.
He was a wrestler known for his bouts at the Mid-South Coliseum to Wembley Stadium in London, facing off against Hulk Hogan, Jake Roberts the Undertaker, and he even body slammed Andre the Giant.
After I body slammed him, I was so surprised of the spot. I was standing back, I didn't know what else to do. I was just there, I didn't know nothing else to do.
And the fans went crazy.
Yeah, they did.
Some fans loved his persona of wearing African makeup and a loincloth, but he admits others didn't.
It might have been a little bit of a disgrace to the blacks, but I was just concerned about making a few dollars, but I didn't want to hurt no nationality.
But today, the real man without the makeup is James Harris of Senatobia, Mississippi. He walked out of the ring in 1993 to become a truck driver because he said his then WWF opponents like The Undertaker were making a fortune, and he wasn't.
The Undertaker, he didn't tell me this himself, but he made $500,000. I made $13,000. I made $13,000. So I don't think that was fair.
But his biggest battle in life was yet to come.
Back in October, I went in the hospital and I had to go on dialysis.
His opponent wasn't a wrestler, it was complications from high blood pressure and diabetes. To make matters worse, the once fearless Kamala would eventually have to have his leg amputated.
I had a few times that I shed a few tears, about it, but I never questioned God.
His faith never wavered because of his support he received from his wife, Jean.
I don't ever want him to give up on himself because I would never give up on him. So we just got to fight together because God is going to always be with us.
These days, he still hears from his wrestling fans via email, and many have learned he has another talent outside the ring. They're going online to buy the music he records in his home.
Can't live like that, doesn't it?
So we got another career here, don't we?
I'm a little too old for another career.
No. And even though James Harris now uses a wheelchair and he's learning to use a prosthetic leg, he says he's got a message for his fans.
Don't think of me as, oh, please, help me. I don't want them to think of me that way. I want them to think of me as uplifting.
He says he's comfortable with his new life as a husband, father, and grandfather, but he says deep down inside, he is still the Ugandan giant.
Kamala is alive and well.
Alex Coleman, WREG-TV News Channel 3.
This man literally was broke. They used him. Vince McMahon literally used Kamala, chewed him up and spit him out. And now this man literally has no legs, you know what I'm saying? And they're having to raise a GoFundMe for him just for him to live and survive. The WWE won't even put him in the Hall of Fame. And he bought a lot of folks. He met a lot of folks interested in wrestling. I remember we had the Kamala toy and everything else. So they have always done black wrestlers grimy as hell. This videotape of Vince McMahon with John Cena and then Booker T and some other black chick are standing there, and Vince McMahon says the word nigga.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just holding it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up, I'm a nigga.
You know what I'm saying? So why is it okay for him to use these words and, use shit when it's convenient for him? But now that they've caught Hulk Hogan, now all of a sudden it's the issue. The WWE does not care about black people. Black folks need to get that out their mind. They're not doing this because they care about black folks. They're doing this. They're trying to distance themselves from Hulk Hogan so that way it doesn't ruin their money. Point blank, period. Because they know what was said on those tapes was so detrimental that it could affect the WWE. So they're worried about their pockets. They're worried about their bottom line. And if they had to distance themselves and literally wipe him from the Hall of Fame and not even acknowledge that he ever existed, that's what they're going to do because Vince McMahon is a greedy bastard. We all know this. He has played so many wrestlers to the left. I'm a big wrestling fan. I know about a lot of this shit behind the scenes that Vince McMahon has done to a lot of wrestlers, both black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's funny that they're trying to give this man the Benoit treatment as if he killed his entire family. You know, I'm not saying that I agree with the words that are coming out of Hulk Hogan's mouth, but I can't co-sign with somebody leaking a tape, a private conversation, and then blasting it to the internet. And now everybody's trying to judge somebody off of a private conversation. If you feel like basically silencing people and making people to not be able to speak what they want to speak in their homes is going to change racism, you better wake up. Removing the Confederate flag, you know, trying to dictate what people can say inside their homes is not going to stop racism. People are going to be racist regardless of the situation. You have to know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? I just find the whole situation to me just crazy. I don't agree with anything that was said on that tape, but once again, I'm not shocked either because I don't walk around with blinders on. But like I said, also put yourself in that situation that if it was you and you were in your own home, knowing that you've also said some foul stuff about probably black people, about white people, about Mexicans, about illegal immigrants, about gays. Everybody has some bigotry to them. Everybody has some prejudice to them. It's human nature. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not shocked by anything he said on that tape. Honestly, I just don't give a shit. I don't have the energy to care about that. You know, but I'm more appalled at the WWE trying to act like now they're a friend and a hero for black people. Get the fuck out of here, Vince McMahon, with your bullshit. Until you put Kamala in the Hall of Fame and you acknowledge what that man did for you and did for the WWE and how you guys try to play that man, how you guys won't even help him out or do anything for him, I have no respect for the WWE or Vince McMahon. I think he's full of shit. If you guys have not seen that Kamala documentary, I will put the link down below. It's on my website. There's also GoFundMe for him. I have donated to that as well. But, you know, I just find this whole situation just insane to me. This makes me not want to trust nobody. Period, point blank. You can't trust nobody, not even the person that's in your bed screwing you every night. To the point now where you got to watch what you say in your own homes as well. And I think that that's a bit much. That's starting to sound a bit like tyranny to me, but maybe I'm just tripping. So anyways, y'all, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation concerning Hulk Hogan. Do you feel like he should be erased from the Hall of Fame? And if you were offended by what he said in his home, do you feel like he has a right to say that in the privacy of his home? Or do you feel like no one should say anything, you know, bigoted or racist in the privacy of their home, regardless of the situation? And then how do you feel about the WWE now trying to act like they're friends of the black community by basically getting rid of everything that has to do with Hulk Hogan? Let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey YouTube, it's your girl Lovelyti, and you can show me some love by hitting that subscribe button, watching my previous videos, and following me on social media.